Ready. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to our semi or bi-weekly demo. Today we have a special guest. We have Patience here. She's actually a distributor in Nigeria. She came here for a visit, and so we can connect. And um, while talking to her, I discovered that she has a very interesting story to tell, and that's like everybody else. When we enter this business, we usually have a story, right? A reason why we join a business, and usually it's health related, because this um, water technology is actually has been around for 50 years, and it's been approved by the Japanese health and welfare as a medical water, and it's used in many hospitals in Japan, and spreading all over the world now since 2003. And right now the product has been spread all over 195 countries, including Nigeria, which is recently we have the NAGIC office open there. Patient is from Nigeria. So Patient is actually a cancer survivor, um, and she has a story for. So let me just give you a bit background of the cancer that she has. What Patient has is what we call basically is a lymphoma, a type of lymphoma, which is cancer of the lymphatic system. And so it's she has gone through chemotherapy and things like that, and then when she discovered the water, it actually helped her, and so she's now cancer free, and that's really amazing how this water can help. So that's why I want to share. I want to basically invite her to share her story with us. So Patience, the floor is yours. Please tell me how you what were your conditions before having the water? What were you doing to treat your condition? And then, how you tried the water and how long you tried the water until you saw the effects, and basically what leads you to what it is right now. If you guys Google online, lymphoma is this, right? So we have basically the lymphatic system, which is under your armpit, your groin. These are the lymph nodes, right? And they basically swollen and because of the cancer, right? So sometimes you have to go through surgery. Sometimes you get chemo to suppress the growth of the tumor, and it's supposed to be very painful. So it's called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so go ahead, Patience.
Okay, thank you for having me. All right. Sometimes in 2021, towards the end part of 2021, let's say November, I took ill, and so I had run some tests, a lot of tests, and it couldn't be detected through blood work, test and all that, urine work and all that. So my friend helped me and got to an hospital somewhere in Nigeria, and then a biopsy was taken on one of the lumps right at my neck. So it was taken to the lab, and then the result came back, and it revealed that it was a non-Hodgkin lymphoma with a T-cell formation. So right away, the oncologist and the hematologist placed me on chemo, and I had 6 sessions of chemotherapy.
6 sessions, okay.
6 sessions, yes. Once every 3 weeks. So for almost 5 months, I was on chemo, and then, so at the end of the 6th session, my doctor told me that depending on what I present, that they might have to go into my bone marrow to take a sample. But thankfully to God, that didn't happen, because at the end of the 6th session, somebody introduced me. I didn't know about the Kangen water. Somebody just called me and said that, would you like to try the Kangen water? I said, I don't know what Kangen water is. I drink water. I know the one I take is one of the pricey ones and it's good. And I said, don't worry, it doesn't, it won't cause you any harm. You can try this one. I said, okay, let me have it. Prior to that time, before I got the water, the effect of chemotherapy, I almost came down with cardiac toxicity, where I could hear my heart, my heart practically, pounding, and a lot of current was passing through my body. So I can't sleep. And then, everywhere in the body hurts, like you're having a heat sensation, as like you're put in the oven, so I can't sleep. So for all those periods, I wasn't sleeping. So, but as soon as I got to the Kangen Water Station, because they were doing a demo, and I had to go and look at the demo and see, what type of water, because the system was already polarized and fragile. So I can't afford to be careless. So I went there to see exactly what it was. And I was, exposed to the demo, and I saw that it's something to try. So that day I tried the water. I drank a lot of it. As a matter of fact, I lost count of how many cups I had that day. They started me straight on the 9.5 variant. So I took the water. So when I got home, that was when the miracle started. I got home. As a matter of fact, I slept that day for almost 11 hours. Something I have not done in months. I've not been able to sleep. I slept for almost 11 hours. So as a matter of fact, when I woke up the next day, I felt what I've never felt before. I tell you, it was like a miracle. It was like the water was waiting for me. I slept. Everybody in my house, because, Nigerians, we live a communal life. So there were people in the house. They were watching and say, why is this woman sleeping this much? Because naturally, during those periods, I will be the one to go and wake them up, because I stayed awake all night. And when you are not sleeping in the night is very long. So I will go and wake them up and say, I'm hungry or something, just to have company. But I didn't wake up in the morning. They had to come and wake me up. And when they found me sleeping, they just allowed me to sleep until I woke up. So I think that was when the healing process proper started. Because I believe that when the body can rest properly, that's deep sleep, the body will begin to heal itself. So that was how, yes, that was how I got glued to Kangen water. And usually, before, I was into cookware business, healthy cookware business, the prestige cookware by Innove. So I cook my food, healthy cooking and all that. But it wasn't liking to Kangen at all, because it was an instant relief for me. So that was how I got hooked to Kangen. And I began to preach the gospel of health through Kangen. So this is where we are today. Yeah. So for almost 18 months, I've been drinking Kangen water.
Wow. So now, so with the Kangen water now, what happened to your tumor? Like, has it been
All the tumors have,
recession for a long time?
of course, all the tumors have
Sorry?
disappeared. Yes, all the tumors have actually disappeared because I had the chemo sessions. But I had
Mhm.
lost, I was 1/3 of my size. I lost a lot of weight.
Mm.
Yes. But I'm getting back now. Like
Mhm.
I stood on the scale the other day. I weigh 72, kg.
Yeah,
And so the weight is coming back.
right.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
That's the story.
Well, congratulations on the
Very,
water.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I've heard many, many stories again and again how this water helped with cancer and all the stuff. So, um, yeah, I truly believe this water can do that because, in fact, I have a client as well. I remember he came to this same table that I'm sharing with you right now, and he looks really pale and skinny and he can hardly even talk. His wife was doing more talking. Basically, he had cancer, kidney cancer. One of the kidney has been removed. The other one, he still have like three aggressive tumors, and of course, it's spreading to other parts of his body as well, lungs and things like that, and metastasized. So stage 4, and he was doing chemo, and they have this new drug that's also helped with the chemo. So he basically um, volunteered to try. They asked for 10 people to volunteer at the same stage 4 kidney cancer. So when he tried the first dose and then of chemo, and after 3 weeks, came back for the second dose, and when he came back, the 10 people, now only 5 people showed up. That means that 5 already dead. So he got really scared and he said, you know what, I'm going to die anyway. The chemo side effects and you're just really hurting and all the stuff and not good quality of life for him. So, and then he heard about the water, so he came and talked to me. And I was technically really scared because I never experienced this. People who has cancer talking to me, right? And I said, I didn't want to promise him anything because you deal with people's life. It's not about selling the machine anymore. It's about say, what you say can harm or help people's lives, right? So I just share all the research that I have found on cancer and how this water helped cancer. And he said, you know what? Doesn't hurt to try. I'm gonna get a machine and try it, right? And of course, he was not working and didn't have money, so we as a team gather all the commissions and give him back the commission so that at least he can own the machine. And believe it or not, after 6 months, okay, oh sorry, 6 weeks, 6 weeks, he went back to the doctor for a checkup, and his tumor shrunk almost like the three aggressive children become like non aggressive, right? Basically benign, and he was really happy. And then he got his health back, and he was able to work again, and working night shifts and all the stuff. At first, the doctor asked him to do like modified work, and then he did full-time work and stuff like that. So that really makes me feel that I need to spread this more, right? I need to share this more as Mr. Oshiro, mentioned about the true health philosophy, right? Uh, Sharing true health globally with compassion, one family at a time. And that means true health is, physical health, financial health, and mental health, right? So if you have money, financial health, then you have first of all, you have physical health, which is, you're healthy, right? And then you can participate in the referral program, marketing plan to become to have financial health, right? And with money and with health, you can enjoy like patients here, travel the world and travel all the way from Nigeria to come here and enjoy her life. She doesn't have to worry about money. I'm sure the checks is coming still. 4A is pretty good, but still, right? So, and of course, he's enjoying life, right? So that is basically what this is about, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I'm able to share. And like with cookware, for example, that you're doing patients, like in order for people to experience that, it's very hard, right? You have to give them the cookware to cook with, and even that, like you have to really explain the difference. It's hard to find the difference, right? With different cookware, for example. So it's for you, you just say it's instant relief, right? You can feel it right away, and water is so easy and cheap to share. So it's no brainer that this is it. For me, this is what I have also done and learned about other businesses and stuff like that, but this business is awesome, and the product works, and I'm sure everyone here have a story to tell on how the water have been helping them with their health and their finance as well. So thanks for sharing, Patience. So earlier we talked about diabetes, and so I have a presentation diabetes. Unfortunately, it is in Vietnamese, but I'll translate it in English because most of my um, my teams are in Vietnamese. So I'm going to share with you this presentation. Okay. Okay. Can you all see this? Right? Diabetes and ERW. This water, you can see it, right? So this water is called electrolyzed reduced water, short form for ERW. Right? So what is diabetes? Basically, diabetes is a regulation of glucose metabolism that's out of whack. Basically, it's uncontrolled, right? And what's controlling the sugar metabolism is what we call insulin. Okay, insulin is basically the stuff that excrete from the pancreas, right? And insulin regulate the glucose homeostasis. Basically, if you have too much sugar, then it will produce less insulin and or more insulin, so that it will regulate the insulin, and the insulin come from the insulin actually regulates three parts. Liver is basically storage of glycogen, right? And in the muscles also glucose, um, and in the blood as well, triglycerides and fatty tissues, right? Those basically all insulin related, and the brain also trigger digestion glucose, and then it triggers the pancreas to produce insulin to regulate the glucose. And glucose is basically your uh, fuel for the body, right? Uh, every cell in your body functions and survive and active because of glucose. Glucose, it's like gasoline to a car, right? Glucose is like gasoline to a car. And so every muscle, every cell in your body require glucose um, to uh, to function, right? And it's like food for every cell. And um, so the problem with insulin is this. Right? So this is your cell, right? And the glucose has to enter the cell so that the cell can metabolize glucose, right? Because that's the food for the cell, right? So this is a cell, and basically when glucose comes in, right? So you have insulin. Insulin goes in here, and it excretes. It's in the blood, and it basically unlock the glucose door, right? So insulin comes in and it basically binds to the site of the cell, and it unlocks the door, and then glucose can enter, right? So if it doesn't if there's no insulin, then glucose cannot get in, right? So insulin is like a lock to unlock the cell, right? So glucose can enter, and so the cell can basically be fed with glucose, right? So so what happens when you eat, right? When you eat, and then the brain says, okay, you're eating, you have glucose, So now the insulin is produced, right? And then if you're not using all that glucose and it becomes stored, the store is fat, right? And then because it's all stored as fat, you're hungry because the insulin doesn't get into the cell, so it's too much insulin, and so it starts to store because your cell is not using it, right? So it stores, but you're still hungry because the sugar is not entering the cell, right? So basically, you get tired, you get hungry, you eat more, and your body produce more insulin, but then it's not entering the cell, so you think that you're hungry, and all the extra insulin go to sugar, and that's the whole um, problem with type 2 diabetes, right? So again, here is a person with type 2 and type 1. Type 1 is more genetics, and it's also basically your pancreas is not producing insulin, right? So when it's not producing insulin, you don't have enough insulin that your body can use. So when insulin is not enough, then of course it cannot act as a key to open the doors to more glucose, right? So that is type 1. Type 2 is insulin resistance. That means that your um, your cell is not there's some problem with the lock. So the insulin binds, but it's not able to unlock the glucose, right? So that's the different types of type 1 and type 2 diabetes, right? So here is some of the studies. As you know, our water is hydrogen-rich water, right? And I can do a demo later and show you the hydrogen content in this water. But basically, here is a PubMed research, right? So it's hydrogen-rich water, antioxidant, and it helps with metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome are basically disease that's related to metabolism, right? Metabolism of glucose, metabolism of energy, all the stuff, or diabetes, or it's basically metabolic syndrome. And you can see here the study is it's Japanese, right? Because this technology has been around, and most of the research are Japanese. So metabolic syndrome, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, which basically is too much fat in or triglyceride in your blood, which is basically high blood high. What is that thing? All of a sudden, I forgot. Basically, uh, fatty tissues in the blood, and it clogs your high blood pressure and high blood pressure, insulin resistance, obesity, which is uh, weight gain, is because of that insulin cycle, right? So you keep eating, but you're not getting the energy. So your body could trigger you to eat more, right? But here they study for 8 weeks on 20 subjects drinking hydrogen water. And the conclusion is drinking hydrogen water represents potential therapeutic and preventive strategy for metabolic syndrome. You can see that that is one article with like human subject talking about drinking 1.5 to 2 liters a day, right? Um, of hydrogen water, which is our water. Okay. Here's another one, type 2 diabetes, and we have like 30 patients that they tested on since December. That's a whole year, right? December 2017 to 18, and you can see the conclusion is alkaline ionized water, which is another name for electrolyte reduced water. Decreased total cholesterol. That's what I was thinking about. Cholesterol. It's basically the fatty tissues are deposited in your blood, and which is the LDL, right? There's HDL, which is high density lipid, and then LDL, which is low density lipids, and the low density is what cause clogging of the arteries and things like that for high cholesterol, right? So it decreases the total cholesterol and improve lipids profile. Lipid profile here, they talk about HDL and LDL, right? So basically HDL decrease, oh, here it is, LDL, right? Here's the LDL, low density lipoprotein, right? So LDL decrease and HDL increase, right? Which is the good um, um, fat, right? Lipids. So so this is with patients with type 2 diabetes, right? So T2DM is basically type 2 diabetes. Okay, you can see that this water actually helps, and you can actually research on it. And this article, you see that it's studied by many Department of Medicine, Faculty of Medicine of University, Cardiology, Vascular Medicine. So it's you know, very you know, trusted, you know, research institute, and not just you know, anybody, right? Or opinion of a doctor doing this, right? So here's another PubMed, and you can see a Japanese researcher, and also demonstrated H2, which is hydrogen or diatomic hydrogen, or molecular hydrogen, exerts metabolic effects similar to those of insulin, and maybe a novel therapeutic alternative for insulin type 1 diabetes, right? So basically, it hydrogen acts similar to insulin. I mean, if you have insulin resistance, hydrogen actually can replace the insulin and open that key to let glucose in, basically, right? That's what it says here, right? Demonstrate metabolic effects similar to insulin, right? So it's quite interesting how hydrogen can actually act as insulin to help with diabetes or insulin resistance. Here's another one. Hydrogen improves lipid and glucose metabolism in patient type 2 diabetes. So again, type 2 diabetes, and you can see they study with 4 to 6 patients and hydrogen-rich water. And in conclusion, hydrogen-rich water beneficial to type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. Again, all the Japanese studies here, right? Okay, here's another study, and they study 411 people, right, with type 2 diabetes. Over 70 age is like, you know, older people, 71.5 years, like average. And they drink 2 liters per day. And then the blood glucose and everything's after 6 days. And they can measure and see how it goes. And it helps a lot. 29 patients and study in 6 months, significant decrease, 100%, 100 subjects perform, right? So you can see here it's all, you know, glucose resistant, I mean, glucose regulation of glucose in the body. Electrolytes and naturally reduced water exhibit insulin-like activity in glucose uptake into muscle cells. Again, remember you're talking about hydrogen? Hydrogens actually exhibit insulin-like activity. So it can replace insulin, right? And this one is studied in the mitochondria, which is where the insulin is metabolized, right? So they're talking about the transport of insulin into the membrane, and this is type 2 diabetes. So it's all Japanese studies. Another one here, pancreatic beta cells. Beta cells is actually the cells that excretes insulin from the pancreas, right? And ERW here, glucose concentration, increased blood insulin, improve glucose tolerance, and preserve beta cell mass, because beta cell doesn't oxidize, right? Which is, you need this, right? And so ERW may protect beta cells damage and would be useful in anti-diabetic agent. So when the beta cells dies, then it cannot produce insulin, right? So that's why H2, which is molecular hydrogen, actually prevent or preserve the beta cell death, right? So damage, so that the beta cell can produce insulin. Antioxidant, see, this is antioxidative effect of the water, improve the diabetes as well. So here they're talking about electrolytes reduced water, which is our water, right? And they use not just our water, but also the Hita 10-year shui, which is water in Japan, water in Nordino in Germany, uh, I think they spelled it wrong, but the Cote water in Mexico, these are our natural source as well as electrolyzed water, and how it's improved sugar damaged cells and improved sugar tolerance of type 2 diabetes. Again, more. This one talks about cholesterol and diabetes, LDL and HDL, which is like the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol, and how it helps. Using this conclusion, alkaline ionized water decrease the total cholesterol and improve lipid profile in patients with type 2 diabetes. Another one here. So it's a lot of studies, right? Here, electrolytes reduced water, how it helps with type 2 diabetes. And this is a human study as well in 2021 in Japan. Here's more. Here's more. This is Shanghai Journal of Preventive Medicine. And 3 to 6 months drinking alkalinized water, result levels of blood sugar, and blood lipids decrease significantly. Here's more molecular hydrogen and how it suppresses the level of fasting blood glucose, improve impaired sugar tolerance, ability of obese insulin type 2. Right? Well, type 2 causes obesity as well, but this is like a mice study. So, and in Japan, in fact, they have used this to help people with neuropathy. Neuropathy is due to diabetes. You hear a lot of people have diabetes and they have to amputate their leg because the infection wouldn't heal, right? So they have to amputate their legs. So in Japan, people use this to treat neuropathy. And let me share the sound.
The early 90s stories that they've witnessed. Many of the reporters refer to it as miracle water. For nearly 5 decades, both alkaline and acidic waters have been used in the top hospitals and medical clinics in Japan. This patient was diagnosed with an advanced case of diabetic neuropathy and was actually preparing for the amputation of his leg. In a final attempt to save his limb, his physician decided to try an aggressive treatment using alkaline and acidic water. He started with a regimen of soaking his foot in strong acidic water to kill bacteria and germs, while at the same time, he started to drink approximately 3 liters of 9.5 pH alkaline water each day. The results were unbelievable. The amputation of his leg was cancelled, and today he is up and about, enjoying a full recovery. These children are suffering from very
So that's the diabetes, neuropathy, where you have the nerves and the blood vessels are not feeding into the wound. So when you have diabetes, and so when you have an infection, it basically cannot heal, and the tissue is basically dead, right? Basically dead flesh, and you have to amputate. Okay, but so in Japan, they use that to help. Basically, you use the 2.5 to kill germs and bacteria, the infection. So that's outside, and then inside he drinks like 3 liters of 9.5, and it has great result, and the amputation was canceled. So you can see that this is just one aspect of the water, of one sickness. Right now, hydrogen's been over 107 disease model that has been studied of how it helps with human disease model. So drink a lot of this hydrogen, and hydrogen, in fact, the half-life of hydrogen is only 2 hours. So you know how people share the water? Oh, yeah, I'll come back every 2 hours, 2 days. 2 days is gone. 1 day is maximum, right? Even if you take the water and you leave outside without the cap and everything, right? After 2 hours, half of the hydrogen is gone. That's half-life. Right? There have been studies on that as well. So that's why you got to drink this water fresh, as fresh as possible to get the effect, right? And hydrogen is so small that it diffused through glass, it diffused to plastic and stainless steel and everything. It's not just the air, right? It actually diffused through material that it contains as well. So aluminum has been found to be to preserve the most hydrogen for the longest time. So it's important to drink as much this fresh water as possible. So, any question? So I'm going to show you the hydrogen in the water, since we talked about hydrogen and all the stuff, right? Can you see? You might have to. Okay, I'm going to spotlight. Can you see it? Okay, so here is my machine. I'm going to take 9.5. This is what we drink, right? So here is Aquafina. Here is, you see the hydrogen, the cloudiness, that's hydrogen, okay? So leave it here. And the Sani, okay? Then I have tap water. Can you see the tap water? There you go. In case I don't cheat. Okay, so here is the Kangen water and tap water, right? What I have here is hydrogen meter, right? See H2 stand for hydrogen, right? Okay, so I'm gonna measure Aquafina, get 0 hydrogen, right? The Sani, you get 0 hydrogen. Tap water, get 0 hydrogen. And this is the Kangen water. You see that? That's the hydrogen level. Sorry, the light went off. I'm going to turn it on again. It's you see the hydrogen? It's parts per billion, right? So you can see that this water, it has like a lot of hydrogen, almost like saturation. If you leave it long enough, it will go to like 1.4, 1.5 maximum, right, of hydrogen in the water. So that is what we're talking about. And this, if you leave here like this, after 2 hours, only half of the hydrogen remains. So you gotta drink it as fresh as possible to get the most hydrogen. And if you need to bottle it, then you need dark color bottle so that it will stop the UV from penetrating, so you preserve the water, right? And then of course you want to close it tight so you get air, because air is also oxidizing and all that stuff, right? And then minimize the motion, the shaking, right? Agitation also affects the hydrogen content in this water, right? And heat. So of course, if you take this water, you cook, hydrogen's gone, it would just evaporate, right? It would just, escape. And also time. So even if you leave it tight, everything tight, hydrogen diffuse out of this container, and it'll be gone as well, right? You cannot keep it long. So in order to preserve the hydrogen, you need to drink as fresh as possible and keep as much as, those 4 properties that I mentioned. Keep that in mind to keep the hydrogen. That's why when I share the water or give people water, I said every 2 days maximum. But if you can do every day, it'd be better to get new water, because that's the hydrogen content, and that's how it helps you with this water. That's why we don't bottle this water and sell it. We sell the machine so it can make fresh hydrogen. Okay? Any question about this?
Very good.
Vicky, it's the first time you see this, right? Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so there's a lot more studies on this. Like, I mean, actually, I have some study here too. If you can see, share my screen. I'm gonna stop this. And here. Can you see my screen now? Yes? No? Maybe not. Okay, here. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? So here, hydrogen-rich water improves like glucose metabolism. You have this advanced research and how this water, reduced water, helps in preventive of oxidative stress, disease such as diabetes, cancer, arteriosclerosis, which is the glucose, not glucose, blood lipid, right? And cholesterol. That's basically cholesterol. The LDL, it's in your blood, right? And it basically deposits into your arteries. So when the artery is deposited with fat deposit, then it's restricts blood flow, right? That's why people arteriosclerosis can lead into like stroke, high blood pressure, because your heart have to work really hard to pump the blood into the arteries, right? But the artery is clogged due to arteriosclerosis, right, which is the blood lipids, blood fat, or cholesterol deposited onto the arteries. Neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson and Alzheimer and things like that. Hemodialysis, which is your kidneys. So I mean, there's a lot of research in Japan, and in Japan they call it functional technology, research on functional technology. That's how it started in 1950s. So here we have more. So let's see. That is one. Yeah. So this is my research, by the way. So just to let you know, I have a lot of research on this water, right? These are all my, studies and research. I read them all. Everything from municipal water to spinal injuries, alkaline studies, turmeric, dental office supply, right? Celebrities, testimonial, diabetes. You saw diabetes, right? So these are all diabetes research, right? Cancer, all kinds of stuff. Thousands and thousands of medical research on cancer as well. So this is where whatever I see, I just put it into this library of mine. Okay, so yeah, so hydrogen-rich water, how it helped with the glucose, tolerance, right? Here also anti-diabetes again, right? So yeah, there's a lot of studies on this. You know, I mean, I don't have to convince you, but you got to try the water to see how this water would help. Okay, guys, any question? Okay, unmute yourself and we can talk. So patience. Make sure Sam drinks it, okay?
No questions. Yes, I'm sure. I'll make sure he does.
Cho bạn nụ trước đi. Sơn cho bạn nụ trước.
Lên mất 12 tiếng. So anybody have any questions? And I think we have it's 9:50 now, 9:15, 17 now. Helen, do you have any question?
No, no. That's very clear.
Sorry?
All the lectures are very clear. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So that's just diabetes. We have like, you know, cancer. I have like presentation on cancer and metabolic and, ulcers, you know, kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, and we can end the Zoom today. Today we're just sharing some of the things we all see in the demo. So I don't want to bore you guys with the demo. So
Thank you, anh Tâm.
You're welcome. Vicky.
Thank you, anh Tâm. Oh, I'm so glad
You're
you touch on diabetes today, and my niece, she's actually here right now, and I was able to let her listen to you and be able to, you know, look at the studies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy that she was able to listen to it. But I don't have any questions.
A lot of people have diabetes. So that means that I'm good in presenting that you don't have any questions, right? Either that or you have no clue what I was talking about.
Well, I usually have questions like maybe the day after or so. And when I do have one, I will text you. I know where to find you now.
That's true. Okay. So patients, if you have any people who want to learn about this, just, you know, we can share on the Zoom and things so they can have, you know, more information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there and there's not enough research, and everyone just kind of echo whatever they study and learn, like, you know, years ago, right? And they don't want to change, you know. A lot of them will still focus on alkalinity, you know, how alkaline help with cancer and this and that, and then it's also the you know, the hydrogen, I mean the oxygen that people are sharing as well. Is like, wow, it's amazing how, you know, like nowadays it's all Google. You just search in Google and you search in the right thing, you can get all kinds of information, right? So it's not, it's people are smarter now. You know, you can't just take everything by face value anymore, right? So you have to be scientific. You got to learn and do research more in order to be more convincing that this water is going to help them, right? And all these things is still theoretical, right? You have to try it to see how the water helps, you know, with your own health, right? And that's the ultimate answer. This water would help. And just share the water. Make sure they drink enough water, you know, every day if possible. Change the water so they can get the health benefits. Right? 3 weeks, they see the benefits already, right? If you leave it too long, you know, 3 days, 4 days, all you're drinking is just alkaline purified water. It's not therapeutic anymore. Right? Over 1,000 medical research on hydrogen. So yeah. Sorry, patient, you were saying something. You gotta unmute yourself, sir.
I said it's still better than tap water.
Of course, it's still better than tap water. I mean,
Yeah.
tap water is the worst for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, if you want people to try this water and see the benefits, and encourage them to drink fresh as possible.
Yeah.
When they come over, before giving the water, give them fresh water first. At least get them drink the water first before they go home.
Yeah, sure.
Give them a glass of hydrogen water before they
Before they
bring the water home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for dropping by, and we can learn more some other time. Today's New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year, all the ones.
Happy New Year, everybody.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.